It's official. Donald Trump has been elected President of the United States.
Donald Trump has won presidency, beating Kamala Harris, and immediately, markets across Asia started tumbling. But this isn't just another political story. This is about something much bigger that's about to reshape the entire global economy. You see, when Trump won, the Chinese stock market took an immediate hit. The Hang Seng Index, which holds major Chinese companies like Tencent and BYD, dropped from 21,000 to 20,200 in just 3 days. Okay, markets fluctuate all the time, but this wasn't just any regular market movement. This was fear. Here's why. During Trump's first term, he initiated what became known as a trade war with China. But to understand what's coming next, we need to break down what actually happened during that first round. Imagine you're buying a Chinese-made product. Let's say it's a smartphone that costs $500. When Trump put tariff on Chinese goods, it basically meant adding an extra tax when these products enter the US. So that $500 phone, it suddenly costs $625. This makes American consumers less likely to buy Chinese products, which was exactly Trump's goal. Let's look at the numbers. From 2014 to 2018, US-China trade was relatively stable. But then, boom, Trump's tariff hits. By the end of 2019, the average tariff on Chinese goods jumped to 26.6%. But here's where it gets interesting. China didn't just sit there and take it. They hit back with their own tariff on US goods, raising them from 8% to 25.9%. This is what economics call a trade war. And it's about to get much, much worse. Because Trump isn't just talking about bringing back the old tariffs. He's promising something far more aggressive. A 60% tariff on all Chinese imports. Let me put that in perspective for you. Remember that $500 phone? With a 60% tariff, it would now cost $800. And it's not just phones. It's everything from laptops to children's toys. The Consumer Technology Association estimates that laptop price could increase by $357, tablets by $200, and smartphones by $213. But here's what makes this situation particularly dangerous. China isn't in the same position it was during the first trade war. They're facing some serious challenges. A massive property crisis. Property sales are down 17%. Investment decline. Property investment has fallen 10%. Developer funding down by 20%. Unsold housing. By the end of 2024, China will have 2.9 billion square meters of unsold housing. That's nearly twice the size of London. But wait, there's more. China's inflation rate in 2023 was just 0.2%. Now you may be thinking, low inflation sounds good, but it's actually a serious problem. It signals weak consumer demands and potential economic stagnation. Exactly what China doesn't need right now. Here's the really crucial part. China's economy relies heavily on exports. 3.51 trillion worth in 2023. If Trump's tariff hits as promised, this number could plummet, potentially triggering a wave of bankruptcy and a recession. But here's where this story takes an unexpected turn. This isn't just about hurting China. It's about potentially hurting everyone, including American consumers. Recent studies show this tariff could reduce US consumer spending power by $90 billion, increase household costs by $1,900 to $7,600 per year, push US inflation up by 6% to 9.3%. And this creates a fascinating dilemma. Trump's base elected him partly because they're frustrated with inflation and the cost of living, but his tariff policy could actually make this problem worse. There's also another factor that makes this situation completely different from the first trade war. China has been preparing. They have been diversifying their trading partners, strengthening ties with developing nations, building their domestic market, investing heavily in technology independence, especially in AI and EV. But there's another crucial piece to this puzzle that we need to talk about. Trump's potential cabinet picks, particularly Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. And this changes everything. Rubio isn't just any politician when it comes to China. He's been one of the most hawkish voices in Congress on Beijing. Let me show you what I mean. Over the past few years, Rubio has led effort to ban TikTok in the United States, pushed for stronger screening on Chinese investment, called for completely decoupling from Chinese supply chains, advocated for stronger military support for Taiwan. But here's where it gets really interesting. Traditional diplomacy between the US and China has relied on what experts call strategic ambiguity, especially regarding Taiwan. It's a delicate balance where everyone kind of knows where the line is, but nobody says it out loud. Rubio? He's been pushing to throw that playbook out the window. He's advocated for what he calls strategic clarity, essentially telling China exactly what would happen if they made a move on Taiwan. This matters because the Secretary of State isn't just America's chief diplomat. They're the architect of how America engage with the world. And Rubio's appointment would signal something profound, a fundamental shift from engagement to containment. Think about it this way. While China has been building its Belt and Road Initiative, Rubio has been pushing for what he calls economic NATO, an alliance of democratic nations to counter China's economic influence. This isn't just about tariffs anymore. This is about reshaping the entire global economic order. And there's more. Rubio has been leading a voice in restricting technology transfer to China. He's called for expanded export control on semiconductors, stricter oversight of academic partnerships, new restrictions on American investment in Chinese tech companies, enhanced screening of Chinese students in STEM fields. This matters because China's technology advancement isn't just about economic growth. It's about national security, military capabilities, and global influence. But here's what fascinates me about this whole situation. We're not just seeing a shift in policy, we're watching the emergence of a new global architecture. On one side, you have China's vision of a world where economic power flows through Beijing. On the other side, you have what Rubio calls a coalition of democracy aimed at containing China's rise. And caught in the middle, pretty much everyone else. Nations are going to have to make increasingly difficult choices about which economic ecosystem they want to be part of. Take Southeast Asian countries, for example. Many have deep economic ties with China, but relies on American security guarantees. Under a Trump-Rubio foreign policy, they might be forced to pick sides in a way they've managed to avoid until now. This creates pressure points across the globe. European nations balance American demands against Chinese markets. African countries weigh Chinese infrastructure investment against American partnerships. Latin American nations navigating between competing trade deals. This isn't about trade war anymore. This is about something much bigger. It's about who gets to write the rules for the 21st century global economy. In many ways, this reminds me of Cold War, but with one crucial difference. The level of economic interdependence between the US and China is unprecedented in human history. And this is where Rubio's potential appointment becomes truly significant. It signals that the Trump administration isn't just looking to win a trade war. They're looking to fundamentally reshape the global economic order. So what happened next? Well, that's $1 trillion question. But one thing's certain. The global economy is about to enter uncharted territory. And whether you're in Beijing, Washington, or anywhere else in the world, you're going to feel the impact of what happened next. This is one of those moments where history isn't just being written, it's being rewritten. The rule of global trade that we've known for decades is about to change. and we're all along for the ride. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation and how you think it might affect your country's economy. I'll see you in the next video.